Let's see a sample approach to painting areas from under the eye to above the mouth with hues ranging from warm to cool. Observe a way to make the edge between the light and the local shadow with a light and warm hue. First, I accumulate some paint close to the dark color of the shadow. You should limit the amount of the medium in your painting, especially in light values. I control the pressure of the brush and accumulate the paint without much medium, especially where I lighten the hue. I make brush strokes without much pressure between the light and the shadow to form a smooth edge between the two. I don't let the light paint get too far into the local shadow area. The local shadow must be kept dark with the warm transparency of the cameo color that we applied previously. I accumulate more paint, creating a certain amount of impasto or texture where the value is lightest. I keep working the edge, following the border I made with the local shadow. Notice that I go around the edge below the cheekbone. I get closer to the side of the nose with less brush pressure and add a mix of little bit of blue and white to the previous mix to make a bit cooler hue. Notice the firm edge where the cast shadow of the nose begins. I go back to work a little higher and below the eye where I see a little more orange hue on the skin. So I first warm the mixture with a little bit of cadmium yellow and almost no red. This mix can be done on the palette or directly on the canvas. All of these changes are quite subtle. I continue to work the edge below the cheekbone. Then I mix a very small amount of orange color of more intensity and apply it on the edge where the skin turns towards the shadow. A greater intensity is almost always observed in the color that lies between the light and the shadow or penumbra. I work the shape with more paint and little brush pressure. Remember that you must observe the topography of your model's face carefully, as each face is different. I see a little bit of light above and to the side of the eye, so I very carefully apply a very thin layer of the light paint in that spot over the local shadow. You can control the temperature of the hue by adding small amounts of a warm color like orange to warm it up or a cool color like ultramarine blue to cool it down. Very subtle value differences could be controlled with more or less white in the mixes or with more or less brush pressure. I realized that the value of the hue immediately under the eye could be lighter and cooler. I add more white with a hint of blue, which makes its temperature cool a bit at the same time as its value lightens. I mix much white with a little bit of ultramarine blue and yellow ochre. I apply this cool hue above the mouth. The color below the nose is cooler than in the upper part of the face. Usually, This same area on a woman's face is not so cool. See an example dividing map areas in the image that shows what you should look for when looking at the skin topography. I have divided the hues into pieces of different temperatures with green lines, indicating the thinking process that you should follow.